I'm Rob, and this is Michelle. We're the Sanders, and we've been with Northwest Community Church since the beginning. We were on the launch team. We started meeting with some of the other leaders in the church before we even got up to Northwest Arkansas. And so we've been part of the church for a very long time. We've been privileged to be part of it since the beginning. The definition of discipleship, is given in Scripture. The Lord said, if you want to follow me, you should deny yourself, take up your cross daily, and follow me. And to me, that's what discipleship is. It takes many different forms, and we can see it lived out lots of different ways, but it has to involve that denying yourself, taking up your cross, and following Him. Discipleship is important because someone has to show you how to live this Christian life. You can read about it, you can maybe hear about it, but you need to see it lived out. And not just church on Sunday or community group. You need to see it lived out in the world. And I think sometimes discipleship has to do with how do you actually live a Christian life in this not so pleasant world that we live in. We've been part of groups for as long as I can remember, even before this church. And I think that that's a very important part of church life. Not only do we get to study the Word, we get to learn from each other, we get to have fellowship, we get to know each other, we get to hear about our struggles in life, we get to share about that, we get to try to help each other. Community groups are hugely important. You aren't scratching the surface of church if you just go to worship, if you just participate on Sunday morning. You get a tremendous amount out of those relationships and that time together as community groups.
I've observed over the years is that a lot of people sit in discipleship, some sort of small group setting like that for their whole life. They just sit there and they grow and they learn a lot, but they don't invest in other people with that. I've noticed that a lot in groups. And if you think about the fruit that we all produce as Christians, Scripture talks about the good tree producing good fruit. And, if fruit, when it's ripe and it doesn't get picked off the tree and eaten, it gets rotten. And I think that there's a danger of that if you're just going to be soaking in all the time and you're not willing, to pour into somebody else. And so it's a process from start to finish. I like being the learner sometimes, and I like being the teacher sometimes. I think it's important to have, all of that in your life. The teacher always gets the most out of anything, always. I would just encourage you, if you're thinking about discipleship, to just look around and see who you might want to model after. That's what I did. Like, who was living out the Christian life in a way that I really admired and wanted to be more like. And get out of your comfort zone and just ask them. Just ask them to help you. Because they're probably more than willing and wanting to. It's just getting over that first hurdle.
So I think that to be willing to be in a discipleship relationship, you got to be willing to just live life together, and to talk about the messy things and to talk about the things that are great, but we have to be real. Sometimes we try to put on our church face and not be real about these things. That discipleship's not taking place then. Discipleship takes place when we're real with each other.
In recent years with discipleship is remembering that it's not just about me and the other person. I thought that for so long, and realizing that it's all part of a bigger picture that God has. He told us to go and make disciples. So we're part of the bigger picture of growing God's kingdom. It's not just about you and the other person or the other people in the group, and just remembering you're part of such a much bigger purpose.